Welcome back, boys and girls, to part number 3 of I Am a Guard Stationed at a Secret Government Prison. Part 5 in the story, but part 3, if you are one of our dear listeners, I know you love the smooth sounds of my nasally country voice, and then Ben's actually smooth, good voice. There's a reason why
I'm
he
always
reads
a little too close to the microphone.
Well, that's okay. You actually sound like butter being spread across toast. I'm like toast getting crumpled up and then shoved.
It's my one marketable
somebody.
skill.
Yeah, no,
it's like I can read these.
Whenever I read it, when I'm editing through this, I hear myself getting lost in my reading because my eyes be going cross-eyed and all over the place. And you have like 2 or 3 stumbles I have to edit out. It's like half the editing is literally just me fixing my retardation. But
dude, your retardation is what's carrying this entire fucking podcast, dude. I walk around as soon as we turn this off. Do you think that your voice just stops in my head? No, I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, I am just all day long at work, dude. I am just walking around doing all of the well, what the hell is going on, dude? I do every one of them a million times, dude.
Well, that's good. That's good. It's gonna get even crazier. I feel like I'm looking through the next part, and there's a lot of dialogue, and I'm gonna have to it's always hard when I'm stacking Sandu against Adrian, because
yes, I know.
I just meld them together. It's just a lot of unhinged shouting. But anyways, we've gotten to Task Force Void Hammer. The hammer has showed up, and we're about to get wet and wild. This is going into full anime halfway point arc where it's the midpoint big battles. We're getting the midpoint big battles, and it's gonna be crazy. And
huge turns, huge twists coming at you.
Absolutely. I'll let you kick it off, Ben. Let's get into it.
Task Force Void Nova Hammer. Most of the guards I knew were just dying to see them in action. I was the odd one out in that regard. Well, they were here now, and those guards were too dead to see them. I'm sorry, that really was a distasteful joke. I guess Adrian's presence had rubbed off on me just a tiny bit. Speaking of Adrian, he was feverishly fumbling around in his pockets while keeping his eyes glued on the monitor. After a few moments, he tossed a bag of white powder onto the table.
Astro Coke?
I asked. He shook his head.
No, I did the regular stuff. The show's not at its climax yet. Gotta pace myself.
He snorted the whole mound in about half a minute.
Yo!
He grunted, wiping his nose off.
You fella wanna hear a secret?
I don't think we had a choice.
Task Force Void Nova Waterhour. How do you think the members got recruited?
I shrugged.
Don't know. Maybe some type of test, I guess?
He guffawed.
No. Their voids are well.
My mouth dropped. As he went on to explain, the Hammer was a constantly rotating team comprised of voids, save for a few exceptions, who were a reasonable balance of both powerful and sane. In fact, different countries occasionally lent their own voids to one another to use for their respective forces. In exchange for their service, the members would be allowed to live freely amongst society, although they were monitored heavily while doing so.
You sure know a lot about the confidential stuff?
Sendu said to Adrian.
Just who the hell are you?
Adrian sat back in the seat.
Nobody, just a dabbler, a jack of all trades, a master of a good handful.
He sure was insufferable. In any case, I put my sights back on the monitor. As Bella struggled against the seemingly insurmountable foe, she tried blasting him with a blade spray. But before she could even raise her hand, it was broken with a single firm grasp. She spat. Very Frenchily. The life draining from her breath with every word. As Adrian would go on to tell us, this particular The Hammer member was...
Conte! I went straight to vampire cop. I went straight to Mon mia conte de guillotine sandals 697 centimeters, 287 pounds, and 130 kilograms. Supposedly he was real badass. An abnormally powerful man with an incredibly skilled and strict sense of justice. To him, the word nuance meant nothing. Rehabilitation reputation was just a joke. Second chances were an alien concept. He was a man whose worldview was utterly black and white. To him, the laws that landed himself in prison didn't constitute legitimate justice. His ideals were only ones that mattered. Crossed his sensibilities, and you were a criminal in desperate need of execution. He's got a pretty notorious reputation in these parts. He's captured at least 7 other voids here himself. Nearly killed all of them as well. Honestly, I'm not rooting for him to win. Gonna be too hard to wrangle afterwards.
Just as Bella looked about ready to pass out, Kente was blindsided by a sudden rush from Luz. Well, I guess blindsided wasn't really the right term. Kente blocked his strike with relative ease, so he wasn't blindsided at
all. He just literally saw him coming. Luz like jumped at him. He was like, "Get the fuck out of here! Get the fuck out of here!"
In every way, except that he saw him and blocked the shot and wasn't blind. Yeah.
Wait, what happened?
Oh, yep, you got there's revenge customer.
There's revenge customer number uno.
Adrian said.
The big guy wiped out Luz's entire village before dragging him into this place. No wonder he pissed.
For the first time, Luz had a fierce expression on his face. He let out a rage-laden shriek before digging both of his hands into the only exposed part of Kente's body, his neck, lighting up the area, and his face with sparks.
Oh boy, that ain't gonna work,
Adrian muttered, grinning. Kente grunted, seemingly taking the full brunt of the excessive shock without going down, before grabbing both of Luz's arms and slamming him into the floor. He dropped Bella in the process, who immediately ran off with her life. Adrian clicked his tongue in disdain.
You're not even gonna help him out. Get that woman for ya.
Stu and I just kind of glanced at each other awkwardly following the comment.
That's a sexism. I know, right?
We do not do that.
We do not do that.
Unfortunately, Luz's rage just wasn't enough for him to fulfill his revenge. While still on the ground, Kente stomped on his head, crushing it like a watermelon. Fuck yeah. Quite the gruesome sight to behold. Afterwards, he set his sights on Wu, who'd been observing the whole exchange. He's like,
yeah, dude. He's got the long ones. Dude.
Yeah, he do like the flip, like the Kill Bill. Yeah, he's just down to this right now.
Yeah, he's just got those.
Contemplating.
And they're not even hair. They're just like they're just chains.
Chains, yeah, dude. I was gonna say it was like the spirit dragon, like the spirit splooge coming out of his face, but no, I like chains way more.
Transhumanism. So his mustache is.
Oh my god, bro.
So remember those bracelets that used to click the things out of that every girl used to wear? They would the metal ones. That's his mustache, or just those little cubes, and then it's just chains hanging off of them. It's like Winnie the Pooh's on the end of his mustache, spread eagle with chains coming out of his crotch, and that's what the ends of his mustache.
One's and like one side's like a friendship bracelet, and like
finally,
okay. Adrian said,
"No stronger going at it."
For a moment, Wu and Kinte both seemed to acknowledge each other's power, hesitating for just a moment. They're doing like the cool guy nod, and then in a flash, they rust each other immediately. Both of their opening moves were kicks, catching each other's respective legs midair, causing the walkway beneath them to crack underneath their combined pressure. This is so fucking anime.
Yeah.
On top of possessing overwhelming strength, they were both apparently skilled in martial arts as well. A terrifying combination. But Wu possessed another, more devastating aspect on top of it all.
Actual weapons.
I fucking can't.
Dude, I like how the prisoner has actual weapons and not the guard.
Not just your ideas of justice.
Yeah.
Wu dropped his leg, opting to blast Kinte with a flurry of shotgun rounds instead. It was enough to send him flying backwards, breaking apart the torso section of his suit. And he didn't even give him a second to breathe. Wu rushed forward immediately after, grabbing Kinte's helmet and slamming it down on his knee, shattering it completely. He attempted to decapitate him on the spot with a saw, But Kente caught the slash before it could land. Dude, last time we were talking about this and we were saying like he pulls out like the big floppy saw that's like way too fucking big. He's like trying to get it like fucking...
I just picture it's just if I had like picturing like the Mandarin combined with Iron Man with a like an Acme saw, dude. It's straight up from the Warner Brothers, or what was it called, the Animaniacs.
Yeah. He like kicks him for a second and he like gets him like winded and he like reaches down his sleeve like all I always lean the wrong way and he like just keeps like pulling the saw blade out.
That's all the capitals I know.
Kente looked up at Wu, his dark eyes twisted with rage. He broke the saw in half, before delivering a powerful-looking right cross to Wu's stomach that splintered a portion of his suit and sent him crashing into the rails.
He managed to crack the damn thing,
I thought, astonished at the fact. That meant, at a minimum, Kente's punches packed more stopping power than an M203 grenade.
Oh, he getting serious.
Adrian smiled.
You know what they call his striking technique?
What?
The pulverizing fist. He twisted Knuckles' last moment, grinding the flesh to a pulp with his strike. It's like drilling through wet toilet paper. But that's only for regular people. It don't work on big boys like Wu.
The armor covering Kente's knuckles had shattered upon the impact. He winced in pain as he cocked it back, preparing to deliver another strike.
Oh, up, boys. You're an impotent... you're an impediment? Impediment. What the... Jesus, dude, my eyes went cross-eyed.
Actually, you know what? I kind of like him just not knowing the word, too. Yeah, dude, I actually kind of like the very first reading of it.
You're an impediment to justice.
Yes, dude, yes. He said through gritted teeth.
Prepare to be executed. But
before the two could clash again, 5 more figures jumped down from the hole that Satan Bot had created, landing in succession around Kente.
Look like the gang's alright,
Adrian said. And this is where the music swells.
You're just like, no,
and
they all
like,
horror
do, like,
movie.
Superhero landings. And they all like flash up one at a time.
It's just that deep guttural just.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. And this is where, like, in the trailer, everyone's, like, in the theaters.
Exactly. You got that one guy who's just Pee Wee Hermaning in the corner.
Yeah.
He's like, this is what I've been waiting for.
This is such an epic marvel right now.
I haven't seen something this awesome. It's the Iron Heart. This is my Iron Heart.
He began giving us a rundown of the other Hammer members. First off, there was...
Killing the fugitive real at 6 foot to 188 centimeters, 165 pounds and 55 kilograms, a Korean American from Brooklyn, not a super malicious guy. He just did whatever the hell he wanted. Problem is, a lot of those things happen to be illegal and unethical. Let's be honest. I like that Adrian's talking about how ethical somebody is. Mr.
And not only that, but he has set up these voids so inconsistently. The voids, to classify as a void, you're supposed to be beyond human, out of this world fucking bonkers. But then you can't. But as long as you abide by all of the rules, you get to be a hammer.
Well, okay. So that's the narrator. Right now, the person who's telling the stats, for some reason, it's confusing because why is Adrian saying the centimeters and stuff? But Adrian's the one giving the stats right now, and Adrian's commenting on the ethnicality of everything, which makes no sense. The Astro Cokehead who's going to kidnap, or who started a riot and is going to kidnap somebody, is talking about how ethical somebody is.
Yeah, he's not really that unethical, which
works with Adrian because he's so like oblivious to who he is really. He's just about a man in the moment. He's willing to comment on others, but not on himself, which it works. It's just funny.
Definitely. He was nonchalantly chewing tobacco as he leaned on the rails. Did you already get this part?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay, yeah. His ability was rather interesting. Even Adrian had a hard time explaining it. Physically speaking, Ken was more or less average. Make sure I'm in the right spot. He had the ability to summon portals, from which obscure-looking but terribly powerful entities would emerge and tear apart his opponents. But at the end of the day, all that he really wanted to do was escape. He hated being monitored.
I love Ken. I love Ken. By the way, Ken is amazing. I love Ken that he's here's why I love Ken. And this is what makes sense. He's your tough guy redneck who ended up in the void, but wasn't a douchebag enough to he was in the void because of his powers. I'm just picturing the government saw Ken. He was working on his truck and they pulled up. He's like, "What the fuck do you all want? Well, you boys better get out of here." They're like, "You didn't pay your taxes." "Yeah, I'd like to see you send the IRS after me." And then they arrest him, right? He's Wesley Snipesing in jail right now. And so they're like, well, we can't really put him in with the rest of the Voids because they actually killed people. We'll make him part of the Hammer. And so now he's just stuck working for the government he hates. Like, that's how I picture Ken. On his back, he's got a "Don't Tread on Me" bumper sticker on his mech suit. That's how I'm picturing Ken. He is S tier of the Hammer so far in my mind, dude. He's the ultimate redneck goonbag, and I love him.
Okay. I get it.
You see the vibe. The one guy that doesn't want to be there, and he's just a portal guy. So he probably knocked off some banks to pay for his RAM, because men with ram hot girls.
Yeah, hell yeah, they do. And girls like to play in the mud. What I don't understand is, I think that he can only summon things through the portals. Like, it has to be that way. Because if all he wants to do is escape and his thing is portals, that doesn't make any fucking sense at all.
It does make sense when you remember that they have Amaranth's farts in a cell.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. Their limits for containment are, like,
impressive.
Metaphysical. They're like beyond what we're picturing. Like, we're like, why don't you just teleport away? Because obviously they fucking thought of that.
Yeah, they caught the surgeon. The surgeon can teleport.
All right, I put him at I have him as, and hear me out here, a firm F, but F tier is, but you're right though, where he is the top of Hammer. I agree with you. He's just so weird, dude. He's so weird. He's a tobacco chewing Brooklynite.
I mean, it might just be my bias because I chew. Like, it might just be my bias.
You're just got this Zen brotherhood going on.
Dude, we're just on that app. We're in that app. We got that African lip sugar in. We're taking a trip to Zimbabwe. We're chilling out, dude. We're cool like that. You vape guys just hate on us. You guys need to stop.
You're right. When one shows up in vape, you know what? This is the transhumanism right here. I'm beyond organics. Yeah, you're right. I'm down there with woo.
Dude, what do we have Ken at? Did we put Ken on the board?
I have Kente written down and the Fugitive written down. So, okay.
So the Kente is definitely C. I mean, he's... You want to go A?
I want to go A with
then
Kente
go A.
because of the voice and the justice thing are just too cool.
I think he deserves that. I think a lot of the Hammer are gonna make it to A and up.
You're right.
I think they're actually cool. They just have
the Fugitive up there too.
What was the Fugitive? I can't remember the Fugitive.
Well, that's Ken. That's Portal Man.
Oh, he's the Fugitive. My bad.
Yeah. I think that he belongs in A tier.
We'll give him A. I'll let my personal bias slide, and we'll put and he has the name the Fugitive, bro. Come on. I think you're underplaying Ken. I think Ken's gonna have some cool lines. I think Ken's gonna be the guy. Ken is like the comedian in Watchmen. We're gonna love him. We're gonna love him even though he's an asshole. That's where I see Ken. Kente, on the other hand, I just think is like...
He's always fighting like this. He's just like...
No. He doesn't bring a bottle around. He's not a bitch.
Oh, you think he just hits the floor with it?
Yeah, dude, he's Clint Eastwooding. Dude,
okay.
Dude, he's Clint. Like, in my head, I picture young Clint Eastwood just like sitting there. Or no, even better, young Paul Newman. Like, we're talking a Cool Hand Luke Paul Newman is what I'm picturing, and he's just sitting there smiling and he's just spitting, and he's like, I don't know what you think. I don't know what you think you got yourself in here, brother, but we're about to get wet and wild. I got a girl back home weighed 350, and I used to slide down that chute like it was goddamn Disney World.
You think I'm afraid of you?
Yeah, exactly. I love him. You gotta have the one.
I like him too. You've talked me into liking him. All right, I have so many ratings written here, like all in sequence. This has been a roller coaster for the Fugitive today.
We've
definitely top of the Hammer. I agree with that.
I think he's gonna be top of the Hammer. I think we're gonna get a lot of like cliches in the Hammer, but I think he's gonna be up there. He just gives off too much Vampire Cop vibes for me not to love him.
And speaking of a cliche stereotype,
Oh.
next.
Oh my gosh, is it, where are we at? Oh, the next is
Next.
Nazar. Next is Nazar, the bloody Twister Ralph. 5'9", 174 centimeters, 168 pounds, 76 kilograms. He was a loan from the Saudi Arabian government. He possessed the ability to transform into a whirlwind comprised of a gas-like material moving at speeds upward of 120 miles an hour. Jesus, I'm not reading the other one. Along with being able to blast out deadly streams of shards at multiple targets at once. It was quite a gruesome way to go out. Dude, hold on. He is Crocodile from One Piece. You ever watch One Piece?
I don't know One Piece.
Oh, you don't know One Piece. Crocodile.
That's an ocean for me to jump into.
Oh yeah,
brother.
no, it's an ocean. It's an ocean.
Yeah.
I get it. Okay, so there's the first big arc. The first big arc against like one of the biggest bads in the whole show. It's like the first big that the main character can't get over is this guy named Crocodile, and he's in like this Middle Eastern type island, and he controls sand. So he creates sand tornadoes and stuff.
Oh, this guy is literally just lifted from One Piece. Then
He's just lifted from One Piece.
I do like the reference. I like that they're referencing One Piece, even if I don't know it myself.
Yeah,
People call me a poser, but I like that he likes it.
Yeah, I think he's
love
still
his
lame.
abilities. I think that they're so racist.
Yeah.
In a way.
Exactly.
And that's not why I like them, but I think it's very, very funny that there is a guy that just turns into a tornado and rips you to pieces. Yeah. And I wish that him and Diazek had like a weird mid-off. I'm thinking C.
Oh, I would agree.
I don't want to go as
C.
low as
He's
F, but he does not excite me the same way that the Fugitive's potential does.
I think it would have been funnier and way more racist if they would have had him like having like explosion powers. That would have been funnier. Keep in mind, I am the one guy
to blast out deadly streams of shards.
So no, hold on. Well, it's just coming from the guy. I'm definitely the Muslim. I'm a Muzzy Muzz. I'm a terrible one, but I'm technically a Muzzy Muzz. And my wife is Arab, and I still think that it would be funnier if it was an explosion person. Like, he could just blow himself up on command. Like, it would just be so on point.
That's how I want to read this, because I would love how just bold-facedly funny it was trying to be.
I mean,
that's like Postal 2 level humor.
Yeah.
So I'm like all for that.
I'm a huge Postal fan. So in my head, it was like, it would have been so like, yes, the tornado thing is funny because he's like, I can move sand around and the sand like slice you up. That's the only tornado that slices you up because it's got sand in it. Whoa! And the fact that he already let the Nazi win like 3 times, I think it was so dumb. The Nazi just keeps winning until he died. I know he died, but come on, he was mitting his way through success. He was faking it till he make it. And then we have the Arab guy who's just like, he's a tornado man. It would have been cool if he could like snap explosions. And and he was like, hear me out, he was like really religious. Like really religious, right? And could snap explosions. And his big face off was against the bastard bishop.
Yeah.
Just have a miniature religion war, like an ideological war. Like one's fighting for all of the others fighting for like God. They're the same God, by the way.
Yeah, right.
Same God. Like people who don't know that it's just like an extension of the Bible is Islam, right? So it's the same God, just they're fighting over it. I don't know. I think it would be funny, right?
No, I actually follow this completely. You know what? Or even if they weren't fighting, they could team up. Like, if we got, like, the Catholic, the bishop, I guess he's Anglican or something like that, the Islamist, if we got, like, everybody who's fighting for, like, ideals of, like
religious ideals?
Like, religious stuff and stuff like that, and then on the other side, we got all of the power armor.
Yeah!
Dude, that would be so fucking
like
cool,
the transhumanism guys fighting,
yes,
that would be really cool.
That would be a real battle right there, dude. All of like the dude, I keep hitting this desk. All like the magic stuff, all the nightmarish shit up against all of the weapons and grenades, dude. All right. Anyway, though, enough about Nasser for now. Well, no, actually, not enough about Nasser. He was also a real weird guy. While nearly every other void assigned to the hammer had relatively clear ambitions, his were an absolute mystery. But he probably wasn't up to anything good. Racist. His eyes were darting wildly around while a gigantic, mischievous-looking grin was plastered across his face. I like that characterization, too.
Yeah. Next up was Callistia, the beautiful demon. Taylor, 5'11", 181 centimeters, 121 pounds, 55 kilograms. She was a former fashion model based in Australia. Her career ended at the ripe age of 23. She ended up suddenly murdering 4 fellow models along with a police force sent to detain her. Supposedly, her abilities had been latent from birth, gradually building up to the point where she was unable to keep it in any longer. In her demon mode, her mouth would fall abnormally agape hot. Dark rings would form around her pupils, even hotter, and her body would engulf a cold gray flames. Well, cold but hot. At this point, she became unintelligible, or an intangible like ghost, and drift into her victim's body, causing them to bleed profusely from every orifice. That's kind of cool.
It is. That is very, very cool. And I think everything about her is really cool. She's gonna need her mouth abnormally agape, isn't she, bro?
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't she, bro? These giant hogs coming at her.
Exactly.
Anyway.
She deserves A. We're gonna put her in A. I'll finish this, but
A's here.
A.
A's here.
But that's only worked on humans. For the most void, she have to resort to physically brawling using her razor-like fingers. Her ambitions were fairly explicit. She just wanted to kill everybody, void or not. It begged the question as to why they'd even assign her to the force to begin with, given the fact that she was so damn volatile. Whatever.
I'll never understand these people.
She was staring intently at Nasser, without any real emotion behind her gaze. It kind of just looked like she wanted to kill him for the sake of it. Continuing on.
There was Clint, the normal guy, Rockwell, 6'1", 185 centimeters, 180 pounds, and 82 kilograms. This would be played by Sam Rockwell. I just see it.
Yeah, it's just Sam Rockwell, yeah.
Nazir, Nazir, he was almost a mystery. Supposedly, he'd never been a void at all. No otherworldly powers, abilities, just a regular, a bit capable guy.
Adrian didn't know much about him, only that he was a special case. Granted access to confidential information and a spot on the hammer due to a recommendation from an unnamed higher-up. In order to compensate for his lack of physical abilities, he was granted an oversized power suit dubbed the Behemoth, along with the God-slaying cannon, a heavy-duty automatic rifle that fired explosive rounds at 600 RPM. I'm gonna say rounds per minute. I think it means like rotations per minute, like a chain gun or some shit. But I'm gonna say 600 rounds a minute. He also stood still with a rather determined expression on his face, as if he had his mind set on a singular concrete objective.
Rounding out the bunch was a de facto leader of the force, Jack the All-American Burns. 6 foot, 183 centimeters, 200 pounds, and 91 kilograms. Like Clint, he wasn't a void either. Born in Oklahoma and belonged to a prolific family. He was an inexhaustibly skilled soldier turned government agent that managed to work his way up to the top with the help of some nepotism. Eventually, he was chosen as an integral subject of a project dubbed the Paragon Trials, in which the government scientists would attempt to genetically engineer superhumans. This is Captain America.
It's Captain America. It's Homelander or something like that.
Well, it's not Homelander. What was Homelander's dad? It was
the super soldier guy.
Yeah, that was who he is. That's who he is.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't the first, but that's what he was told for peace of mind. In any case, his trials ended up working out in the end. I guess the 8th time really was the charm. As a result, he was basically Superman, save for the flight. Genetically engineered hasn't advanced that far yet. Look at those bloody curls.
Adrian commented.
How the fuck did he get hair like that?
He had an arrogant grin on his face as he strolled to the front of the pack. It only took me 5 seconds of looking at him to reach the conclusion that he was probably a giant asshole.
Hey, what's the rush, Kente? Let's not get too excited here.
Jack said.
Remember who's giving the orders, yeah?
Your arbitrary orders mean nothing to me.
Kente responded, still staring vehemently at Wu.
The only thing that matters is justice.
I could see a large vein bulge out on Jack's forehead from the opposition.
Okay.
He muttered before seemingly composing himself.
Let's finish the task at hand.
He directed his gaze towards Wu.
Come on, big guy. You lost your chance at a fair fight when you decided to become a robot psycho.
While Wu... This is just too fucking funny. While Wu may have been a match for Kente by himself, taking on the entirety of the hammer at once was a rather tall order. I guess he knew this himself, as he jumped over the rails, landing on a lower floor.
I'm going after him.
Jack said, stepping forward.
The rest of you riffraff, they want the voids alive, but I'm not gonna be sorely disappointed if you don't bring me back some fucking minced meat.
That was one thing him and Kente could agree on.
And remember,
He said, turning back. His expression was suddenly teeming with fury.
you're all scumfuck pieces of shit, voids as well. You try to escape, try to fuck with me, and you're gonna be begging me to end your pathetic lives.
He pointed at Ken.
You stay here and make sure nobody tries escaping to the roof.
He leaves the guy whose only goal is escape
Yeah,
behind to guard the escape hatch.
exactly.
Instead of acknowledging the order, Ken just spat his tobacco into a plastic bottle.
Does have the plastic bottle.
Got
Still
you,
cool.
bro.
I still think it's cool because he has to have a pocket there, dude. So I think he's got like a thing that clip. He's got one of those like cool metal spit cups that he just clips into his suit.
It's Kente loses his fucking mind every time he spits on the floor.
Yeah.
So he had to incorporate the bottle
Shit,
after
man.
a while.
Shit, man. I'll just spin one of them cups in. You got building in the suit, though, because I tell you what,
Yeah.
ain't nobody gonna tell me I can't have myself in Copenhagen. It's that Copenhagen made me feel so good. I'll fuck a void in the mouth just to say I could. Like he's
Hell yeah.
got like I love Ken, by the way. Like
Ken is getting better. He's getting better and better.
wait until this next line.
shit.
Wait until this next line. Are you ready? Hey, you listen to me, you fucking Jap. Remember when we beat you in the fucking war? Isn't that Korea?
Flint muttered. Ken just raised an eyebrow at the remark.
Dude, I don't even know how to respond to that.
Look, whatever, just listen to me, alright?
Jack screamed.
Okay,
Ken grinned
boss.
sarcastically. and
Okay,
made a
boss.
defensive gesture. Jack's forehead vein bulged out even more. It was really starting to look pretty gross.
Alright, let's fucking go then.
After finishing his motivational speech, he jumped down, presumably going after Wu. Save for Ken, the rest of the hammer followed suit. Power suit, that is. Scattering throughout the chasm in search of the remaining voids. The strong were finally about to converge on one bloody path. As dark, weird, and gruesome as the whole situation was. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't at least a little bit excited to see what was about to transpire.
Roger's like, I'm a little bit excited.
I'm a little bit
He's
little.
Dude, Adrian was like, boy, I think you better put that penis away. Boy, you need to put that penis away. There are two
Well,
other
he's
men
not
trying to
thinking
enjoy
about
this fight.
Adrian's trying to tell him it's too early to get the penis out.
I
dude.
know. We got
Alright,
the hammer. What do we think? I know they have a stupid name, but I
The
think
hammer,
for the most part, they're winners. They're winners.
they are greater than the sum of their parts. That's what I will say. Individually, each, like, I think that besides regular guy and
So the girl, I'm gonna put her in A. I can't remember her name, but
Yep.
we'll give her A.
I got her demon model.
She's a hot demon chick. Obviously, she's going.
Yeah, hot demon chick.
A.
Regular guy.
He's C. I don't think we've had any Fs. Because Clint, regular guy, I think he has some potential. I think he's gonna come in with he's just in my head. I'm picturing God, what's his name? Hank Hill. He was like, God damn it, Bobby. God damn it, Bobby. Could you get
And
the
he's like,
voids?
what?
What?
Give me my god-slinging cannon, dang it.
God damn it, Bobby. Give me my god-slinging cannon, Bobby. Yeah, I understand him. Kind of like this. Everything he says is real breathy. I like Clint. He's just a regular guy that got shoved into this situation. Jack is C as well, the leader. He's just so generic.
Yeah, I think that Jack... I mean, I would even argue for F tier because...
I don't know. He's got that,
He's like-
I like the smell of napalm in the morning vibe.
That's true,
That's the
and
only
he's
reason
based
he-
in red-pilled.
Yeah, it's
So-
it's not even the. It's just he's like low C. He's cool because he's like he's the character you need. You need to have that character, the de facto leader guy. So I do think it's funny that he the main character like complains about his nepotism. And he's like, he worked his way up, but a little bit of nepotism. And it's like, yeah, but what have you been doing, brother? You're like sad
Yeah,
guard, dude. Like, what are you
His
doing?
whole job is just to judge people and tell us their weight.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm like, you're not really much better. That's why you're F tier, he's C. So I feel like if we put him in F tier, I would be diminishing his achievements. I mean, like,
True.
like other super soldiers were in the guard pool and they were failures. So at least he was a success.
Up to now,
Yeah,
so
and
far.
I think I want to keep rolling with it. I see I got the next line. We're gonna go roll right into part 6. Now, before I get this is as far as we got in the first recording. When we first
Yeah,
sat down to do
right.
this, it was both on a day off. We did 4+ hours of actual reading of this, and it broke down that we messed up the audio, and now everything for us is new. It is, well, I mean, I listened to
Fresh
this a
eyes
long
on this
time
one.
ago, but I don't remember 90% of the story, and so it's basically all new. God, I can't keep my eyes still.
Adrian said, beaming at the prospect of utter carnage ahead. My eyes ended up drifting towards the dancing guy, who was jubilantly performing the shuffle along a second-floor walkway. Soon enough, he crossed paths with Nasser, who was grinning like a madman. Without much hesitation, he stepped forward, heading right towards the dancer.
Well, I guess it's over for him.
I said. I had yet to hear about anybody being able to inflict any kind of damage against the dancing guy. The only thing we could really do was contain him, and I severely doubted that things were going to be any different here.
I'm not so sure.
Adrian responded.
The guy's a wild card. I think he's just testing the waters here.
Before I knew it, Nasser had gotten dangerously close. I held my breath in anticipation.
There's no way.
I thought. And I was right. Nasser tried to strike the dancer, but was blitzed immediately. I could hardly even comprehend what had even happened. One moment, he was in the midst of throwing a right cross. The next, he was planted firmly within the concrete wall, missing an arm and with a gaping hole in his chest.
Holy shit.
He spurted out. He looked towards the dancer, still inexplicably grinning.
Nazar. I haven't done Nazar yet, have I?
Dumb. You're strong.
Nazar's tornado guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
What the hell's wrong with him?
I wondered out loud.
Well, nothing at all. I think I found a kindred spirit.
Nasser pulled himself out of the crater he'd made, displaying zero indication that he was in any kind of pain at all. Suddenly, a flurry of glass engulfed his chest wound and missing arm, reverting them back to normal in a matter of seconds. That's fucking badass.
Oh, that's cool.
That is fucking cool.
Dude,
He
it
stretched
is
him-
very One Piece. Again, this guy's just Crocodile from One Piece.
Is he
Oh
like-
my
is he kinda like
god.
Sandman too, a little bit?
Yeah, Sandman and
Almost.
Crocodile are the same powers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
One second, I
so-
gotta fix my hair.
No, dude's got his hair. I'll read.
Oh, what the fuck?
I thought. I looked over at Sandu, waiting to see his own reaction, but he was stone-like, staring at only one monitor in particular. I followed his eyes and realized, for some reason, he was focused on the kid who was sitting in his cell. Oh, check it out!
My thoughts were broken by Adrian's outburst.
She found her prey.
I looked at the monitor he was gesturing to, seeing Kale and Hugo being hacked away at by Callista.
Now who the hell is she?
Kale shouted, taking a sequence of gnarly gashes to the chest.
Evil incarnate.
Hugo answered. Although still severely injured, he was able to move around on his own now.
Look into her eyes. She's being controlled by the devil.
Callista drilled her hand forward, impaling Kale through the solar plexus. He chopped at her arm before pushing her off.
Fucking hell.
He sighed.
This is backbreaking work. Are you a match for her?
Hugo asked. Kale shook his head, exhausted as hell.
Doubt it. In that case,
Hugo said, standing up.
it seems like I'll have to detach myself fully. What the hell are you talking about? My constraints were only lifted halfway last time. You almost died last time. You sure you're gonna make it out this time? I'm not planning to.
Kale chuckled.
Sorry, but I'm not gonna let you do that.
I always throw up the heart every
dude.
bromance moment, dude.
They're so sweet. They're so sweet. It's so cringe,
so
but it's so sweet.
It's so redeeming. Hugo's eyes began glowing a familiar crimson.
I have been ordained by the holy mission. I will do whatever it takes. He
Stared at the rapidly approaching Callista.
Anything to eliminate evil.
His scars began glowing again, brighter than ever this time, preparing to engage the oncoming enemy. But before they could clash, Kale stepped in between and tanked another series of slashes before kicking her back.
Ah!
He grunted.
What the fuck was... Oh, fuck, that hurt!
What are you doing?
Hugo asked, perplexed.
I told you this is...
Yeah, your God-given right. Whatever the fuck. I don't know. I don't know, buddy. You're a psycho, but for whatever reason, I really don't want you to die.
Kale gave him a bloody grin.
It feels like we've been through a lot, you know?
For a moment, it seemed as if Hugo was at a loss for words, but then Callista stood back up.
I see.
Oh, wait.
Oh, yeah.
I see.
He said.
But what are we going to do about her?
Kale looked down inside.
Shit, yeah, that's a real question, ain't it?
Kale clenched his teeth as Callista began charging at them once again.
Looks like old lady looks on their side today.
Adrian said. I realized what he meant when one of Callista's hands were bitten straight off by the chattering man who strolled into the fray from an adjacent corridor.
Wish, yeah.
Kale said, watching the two suddenly preoccupied with each other.
Look like God, he looking out for us.
He grinned at Hugo, who simply nodded back. As those two got the fuck out of Dodge, Callista and the chattering man began relentlessly butchering each other. Using her remaining hand, she made 2 quick slashes in succession, tearing open his chest and forehead. In response, the chatterer bit a good portion of her shoulder off. This went on for a few minutes, until about half of Callista's body remained, and about 90% of the chatterer's skin had been shredded off, staining the entire area a gory red.
Nice. Dude.
That is such a weird image.
Dude, they're just like, she's just like...
and she's still just like, yeah.
And he's just...
Yeah,
right.
right.
Just clicking, and he's just blood.
He's just like the teeth going along the ground at this point.
He's like a Joker's trap for Batman.
But even demonic superhumans had their limits. They were both beginning to slow down. Callista twisted her body, her bloody, knife-like fingers, pushing them into the chattering man's mouth and through his throat. While it was lodged inside, she threw her arm upwards, splitting his head apart. But at the exact same time, the chattering man swiped at her head, twisting her neck clean off. They both fell simultaneously, as combatants who'd fought to the bloody end. It was by far the most brutal bout I'd seen thus far, although there was certainly some fierce competition for that title. I decided to go check back on the voids that were still contained. The Titan was still in his cell, the Calamity's light also remained green. The kid hadn't stepped out either. But then, there was the Warden.
The Warden, dude.
I love him
I
so
told
much.
you, dude, we knew he was gonna come back. We knew he was gonna have
He's
something.
like, I'm just waiting to get my blood going on across my thing
dude,
here.
Fucking normal guy, Clint. I see the next line, but Clint's gonna mess with the Warden. The Warden hasn't left his cell. Why are you? Oh my god.
Regular guy.
Dude, read the
He's
next
going
line.
against the fucking high earthquake, dude. Clint had stepped into his cell, donning the behemoth suit in all of its destructive glory. You are so fucked, buddy. Wearing it brought them roughly up to the same size. Still, he was just an ordinary guy going up against an unfairly powerful monster. Unless he had some tricks up his sleeve. This was about to get really messy really quick.
Hi.
He said, grinning at the warden through his fortified visor.
Oh, you've been chasing me this time. I thought I'd finally come to you instead. Sounds like this guy has some unfinished business.
Adrian said. That much was probably true. Still staring down at the bloodstained floor, the warden simply let out a deep, lengthy sigh. And when he finally looked up, there was nothing in his pit-like eyes but sheer rage.
Your death won't be quick.
His voice was deeper than the Marianas. Before Clint could even get his guard up, he was brutally blitzed by a sudden rush. The warden was moving so fast, he was effectively a blur. Clint was launched backwards, denting a metal wall. The warden bolted at him again, slashing off pieces of his suit with nothing but his fingers. He launched his fist at Clint's protective visor, smashing it to bits and cutting his face up with bits of stray glass in the process. However, Clint managed to push him off before he could connect with his skull, which would have been beyond fatal.
Fuck!
Bat, attempting to unsheath his oversized blade at his side, but he wasn't nearly quick enough. The warden grabbed it by the edge before Clint could even swing, shattering it into fine dust with nothing but a firm grasp. Then he grabbed the suit by the arm, slamming Clint hard onto the ground, causing him to spit out blood.
Shit!
Adrian muttered.
This isn't even hard for me to watch.
The warden proceeded to uncompromisingly wail away on top of him, while Clint barely managed to protect his face with the suit's wrist guards. But even those were being chipped away at rather quickly. Just as there was about an inch of suit left covering his arms, he tilted his elbow towards the warden's neck, firing off a small grenade that caused the overpowered Void to stagger just a little. Yeah, launch a grenade right between you and that guy's face.
Yeah.
The warden retreated, touching the small wound that the explosion had left under his chin. He's like, "You made me bleed my own blood."
Nobody makes the right bleed his own blood.
Yeah, he's like, "Don't I have enough on my fucking suit?" In turn, Clint struggled to pull himself up, with his suit looking like it had been run over by about a dozen freight trains. His face was covered in blood and cuts, while a blood vessel had popped in his right eye. Yet, he shot the warden a gory smirk.
Okay, maybe I deserve that, but the comeback starts now.
He opened a compartment on the suit's ribcage, taking out something that resembled a small white crystal.
Remember these?
He asked, before using it to cut himself on an exposed portion of his wrist. The warden's face twisted it into an unfathomable expression of fury. He rushed forward again, tackling Clint into another wall before ripping off a large chunk of the suit's torso. And then, he drilled his fist into Clint's ribcage. At that moment, I was 100% sure he was done for. But, to my downright surprise, he managed to tank the punch, grimacing only slightly.
What'd you think?
He asked the warden, still grinning.
We ran some experiments. These shards are new and improved.
The warden let out an ear-splitting shriek that I was surprised didn't deafen Clint on the spot, before picking him up and tossing him back into the cell. He followed him in, picking his head up and bashing his temple about 10 times into the metal toilet seat before it ended up breaking from the force. As a result, oh, the toilet. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought he meant his fucking head.
Yeah.
As a result, one side of Clint's face was beginning to resemble bloody mush. Still, I was surprised it hadn't been reduced to a pulp.
What the hell was that shard?
Thought to myself. He also seemed to have picked up a bounce in his step, evading another strike from the warden and crawling behind him. At this point, the behemoth had effectively been reduced to scrap metal. Clint dove towards the god-slaying cannon, which had been knocked loose during their scuffle. He scooped it up and began spraying it at the warden's direction. However, he managed to evade just about every shot, leaving large clouds of smoke and dust behind him as the devastating bullets reduced the place to rubble.
Fuck, you're a tough customer.
It is Hank Hill.
Yeah.
Clint groaned as he flipped a switch on the weapon.
Take this then.
The barrel of the weapon suddenly grew in size, causing it to resemble an actual cannon. As he pulled the trigger, the monitor darkened for just a moment before a flash of deep red engulfed the area, and a high-pitched staccato of wholly unfamiliar noises assaulted my senses. I kept watching as the recoil from the strange blast pushed Clint's back into the wall as it completely annihilated the entire other side of the room. The weapon itself was also destroyed in the process. I guess the God-slaying cannon got an upgrade, because I sure as hell didn't know it could do that. After the smoke cleared, everything was silent for a few moments. Clint grinned, letting out a big sigh of relief, and then his face dropped a few seconds later. As the rubble began stirring, the warden burst out, with about half of his entire body now charred to hell. I imagine like the blood is just smoking and shit, dude. Oh, dude, I fucking love this guy.
Oh, he's great.
Also,
I think he was wrongly imprisoned by. I think Clint was like a screwball douchebag at this other prison who worked there, and he's like, I don't like that you're my boss. You don't need to give me my birthday off. got him thrown in prison because of it.
We should have at least 30-minute breaks. And the warden's like, no!
You only give us 30 minutes and chastise me for being 37 minutes past my break allotted time.
Dude, I want to know. I have to know what's going down between regular guy and demon warden.
Mm-hmm.
He also had the warden that is, had a wicked psychotic grin on his face. It was the first time I'd seen him make any kind of overt expression at all. I could have lived without it, though.
You took everything from me,
he said, walking ominously towards the nearly broken Clint.
But I have to admit, this has been a hell of a time. Son of a bitch!
Clint groaned, reaching into his pant leg pocket. He pulled out 2 syringes filled with black and blue liquids respectively.
Come on, painkillers! Don't let me down!
He muttered before injecting the blue. But just as he was about to inject the black, the warden clutched his hand, crushing it along with the syringe.
More tricks?
He sneered, his eyes wild as all hell.
I guess that's what the weak resorts to.
Clint simply laughed.
You're not smart when you're angry, huh? It's in my blood now.
The warden released the grip, revealing Clint's bloody, cut-up, and mangled hand. However, the black substance was already seeping into his wounds.
What's that?
The warden asked.
A gift from a good friend. Also my last resort. Didn't want to use it now, but I guess I'm out of options.
In a matter of seconds, nearly all of Clint's wounds had healed up. Along with that, his muscles had become visibly tense.
That's impossible.
The warden gritted his teeth.
That's one thing I've learned.
Clint responded, smiling wide as he stepped forward.
Nothing's really impossible.
Moral of the story.
Yeah.
Moral of the story. He stepped forward, throwing a hard strike at the warden's chest. Capitalized chest. Sending him crashing back into the rubble. Clint looked down at his fist in surprise.
Nice.
He grinned. But he had no time to appreciate his newfound power. The warden rose back up like a wild animal in frenetic pursuit of his prey.
You're weak!
He boomed.
I'll never lose to you! Nature won't allow it!
Clint chuckled.
You're right, I'm weak. Must suck for your ego, huh?
The warden shrieked before charging back at Clint. Once there, they engaged in a fierce exchange of blows, rocking the place to its core. While Clint's physical attributes had been enhanced greatly by whatever serum he'd taken, there was still an evident gap in strength between them, with each of the warden's blows ostensibly packing more force than his own. However, he did have one advantage. He was clearly trained extensively in hand-to-hand combat, while the warden was an amateur at best. He dodged a series of haymakers before countering with a flurry of jabs and kicks of his own. At that point, the warden's mannerisms had devolved into that of a feral creature's, fueled solely by the combative impulse. Yet, I could see the same wicked grin creeping in throughout his wild rage. He was undoubtedly enjoying the adrenaline. The warden picked Clint up by his waist, slamming him into the wall and then onto the ground. Then he mounted him. Oh, here we fucking go. Unleashing a series of hammer fists that Clint was forced to excruciatingly block with his forearms. Soon enough, his skin began to tear off from the punishment. While on the ground, Clint managed to throw a kick that connected with the warden's hip. That doesn't make any fucking sense anatomically. He just bent his leg back 180 degrees. Oh. Our little Clint's talented. However, he hardly got any reaction out of it. He simply wasn't strong enough. Instead, the warden threw both fists down onto Clint's ribs. I could hear them crack through the monitor. He grimaced in pain, but the warden didn't give him a moment to recuperate. He drilled a fist right into the side of his face. A spurt of blood and a few teeth flew out of his mouth as his head was cranked to the side.
You gotta be fucking dumb for.
Adrian commented. I had to share the sentiment. Clint's efforts were more than admirable. He sure as hell put up a better fight than I could have ever hoped to, but even with all of his tools, tricks, and skills, he was still no match. At least, that's what I genuinely believed. But the guy was full of surprises. After taking another brutal strike to the shoulder, Clint managed to somehow escape out from underneath. I couldn't even fathom what kind of move he pulled in order to do something. The narrator's just given up.
Yeah.
And then, in a series of moves that would make the most prolific jiu-jitsu practitioners light up with glee, he engaged the warden in a vicious grappling match on the ground. From his face, I could tell that he was going far above and beyond his own limits. It was down there where the warden's weakness really became clear as day. He had no idea what to do. After an entire minute of relentless, excruciating struggle from both combatants, Clint managed to get the warden into a beautiful Darcy choke. Dude, this guy is going full MMA. We're starting to see the real-time transformation of Mr. Ordinary.
I told you when I looked this story up, because I this is one that I remember listening to and loving back in the day, and I absolutely loved it. But when I looked it up, I decided to look at his replies, and he only replies to MMA forums on Reddit. So this guy is a massive fight fan, and he was annoyed that what I love about this guy is he was listening to he was rating other creepypastas. He's like, we don't get enough fighting. Why doesn't anybody punch each other in the face? Why is everybody scared and a pussy?
That's so enlightening because that's all these monsters do. I'm about to say, none of these guys even have, abilities anymore. These are just, dudes in dress up. They're just, what it is they're raiding backyard wrestling matches. Yeah. Yep. And throwing them in deep underground prisons.
Absolutely.
And then just shooting them up full of this crazy blue and black juice stuff and then making them swing it out.
Dude was like, I like anime and MMA. How am I I'm gonna write this story.
Anime and MMA, yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a creepypasta that's just anime MMA fighting, and it's great. It's just fantastically stupid, and it's just the best stupid funny on the internet.
This is getting so much better. He's not even using any powers or anything, man. He's not even hard to grasp with all of his blood on him or anything.
Yeah.
As the warden struggled feverishly to escape, Clint's face was wrought with sheer determination. The warden changed his tactics, opting to pound at Clint's already broken ribs in an attempt to cause him to break his hold. That was a bad decision. It only allowed Clint to get his hold even tighter. Despite all of the egregious punishment he'd taken, Clint never relented. Soon enough, the warden's movements began slowing down, and then he stopped moving altogether.
Oh.
Go to sleep, bitch. And even then, Clint didn't release his grasp. He held the warden's neck in place using all of his strength for about 4 minutes before he finally let go, all while gasping in accumulated pain and exhaustion. The guy really looked as if he was going to die on the spot, but that didn't matter to him. The fight was finished, and an unlikely victor had emerged. With a tired grin on his face, he raised a shaky fist in victory before passing out himself. Hell yeah.
Well, I'm fucking touched.
Adrian said.
It's like watching Rocky all over again.
On another monitor, Bella had made her way back to the top floor, back to the gaping exit.
Oh.
It's our boy. Yeah, the new one.
Well, what up? I gotta get. It's hard. Hold on.
We're getting too big of a
God
cast
damn
of
it.
characters.
Well, what a pleasant surprise.
Ken said, standing in her way. She seemed to share the surprise as they stared at each other.
Isn't she like French?
I think so. Yeah, Bella Declane or something
and
like
she's,
that.
This is the first English she's spoken.
Yeah, you're right.
Is that wrong?
She responded. Ken shrugged.
Where was I gonna see you?
Are you going to let me go?
She asked.
If I did, then an American boy would track me down and kick my ass. I gotta wait till the fire dies first.
He smiled. Oh.
Oh, then he can
I-
go
I-
off. Oh, I messed up.
No, you're
I
good.
gotta
I
wait
jumped
till
ahead.
he dies first, and then we gotta go off in the sun together.
He smiled.
In the meantime, you wanna just talk for a bit?
She sighed.
Oh, what do you think is going on here?
I don't know. That's
Ken
up
responded.
to you. You already know how I feel.
I tried to assassinate you.
You're contracted to assassinate me by a massive dickhead. I'm sure it's nothing personal.
Oh my god.
She sighed
This-
again.
Besides,
Ken continued.
I'm still alive. Maybe you really didn't want to kill me. That's what I tell myself anyway.
You're insane if you think that anything is going to happen between us. You really think I want to date anybody right now?
I'm losing the French accent. It's so hard to do in the women's voice.
I'll try if you want. Wait,
You're insane if you think anything's going to happen between us. You think I want to date anybody right now?
Well, I never wanted to. Never wanted to either till I met you, sweetheart.
a period of silence followed.
Let's face it,
Ken spoke up.
we're bad people living bad lives. Don't you get tired of it?
Speak for yourself.
Bella responded.
You know what kind of people I kill.
I'm not down about that. You know, you want to escape, don't you?
I don't belong in here.
A lot of people don't.
What are you getting at?
I'm pretty sure you know. The kid.
Oui. What about him?
Ken exhaled.
Look, forget about dating. But I don't want you to ever feel like you're doing something for something good for once. Doing something for anybody besides yourself.
Bella simply rolled her eyes in response.
I'm sorry, that came out badly.
She stepped forward, brushing past him.
I'm leaving now. If you want to try and stop me, then go ahead. I'll just kick your ass again.
This is a terrible fucking French accent.
No, it's way better than
There
mine
was
was.
another-
Way better than mine was.
There was another
I
pause.
cannot
Dude.
do French. I can't go from Creole to French girl in any sort of logistic.
plus, dude, it was just all dialogue for like a minute. I was like, I gotta hop in here and help him out. This is gonna be
Dude, you're
fucking
saving my
terrible.
ass. I was drowning when I got to.
Yeah.
Oh, oui. I am but a little French girl.
I was so hard for me because I was like, I went from. Oh, you're just a little god.
Oh, oui.
That is a
Ah, it's
leap.
so hard,
You know,
dude.
back and forth.
You saved my ass there.
He shook his head.
Where are we, dude? Oh, took his head. Oh,
Yep.
God. You know I ain't gonna do that.
Good.
She began walking off.
This is you. Oh, no, this is me.
Oh yeah.
I'm not.
Tired of anything.
She said without turning around. Oh yeah. This is yeah.
I'm not tired of anything, by the way.
She said without turning around.
I'm in control of my own life, and I kind of enjoy that.
She left Ken looking somewhat melancholic, but eventually he began smiling again.
But of course you do.
He took off, abandoning his post. But I'm sure he hardly cared about that.
Well, geez, what an honor.
Adrian said.
Let's get back to the exciting stuff.
He grinned.
The final chips are starting to fall into place.
Jack had finally found Wu.
You China secret weapon or something?
He asked, approaching the mechanical menace who remained silent.
Doesn't matter.
He continued clenching his fists.
America's always on top.
Wait, look up there. Is that me again?
Look up there as well.
Oh, wait, or is this who is this? This is Adrian.
I don't know.
Adrian. This is Adrian.
Oh, yeah,
Look up
okay.
there as well.
I turned to the monitor that Adrian was gesturing towards, watching as Kente continued roaming the corridors, still clenching his teeth in justice-driven rage. Actually, no. He wasn't roaming anymore. He was walking towards somebody. But at first, I couldn't recognize who it was.
Come at me, you fucking asshole!
But I did recognize the voice. It was Senju!
No
His head now
shot!
resembling a glowing, floating skull shrouded in a dark haze.
Didn't he die?
I asked, confused. Adrian chuckled.
Don't you know anything about race style? One of its core proponents is the revival technique.
Of course.
I thought. How could I not know that? Oh, yeah,
Oh,
that was... He does that weird formatting.
How could I not know that?
You killed everyone at my fucking dojo!
Hey, wait, 1 second. Your audio's not coming through.
It's not coming through.
Try to... Oh, now... Alright, sorry, dude.
I
Do
was-
that one again.
What I did is I
You
yelled
killed
too
him.
hard. I yelled too hard.
Oh, okay,
You
okay.
killed everybody at my fucking dojo!
Senju screamed at the approaching Kente.
You're dead!
Kente bit down even harder, cracking his own teeth.
I simply enacted justice, and I waited for too long to finish the job. Man, how lucky are we to find this place?
Adrian said.
Crispy fucking front row seats.
It took me a moment to process the implications of what he'd just said.
What the hell are you talking about?
I asked him. In turn, he looked at me like I was insane.
What do you mean, mon ami?
Didn't you build this place?
He shook his head.
Well, if you did it, then who?
My eyes wandered up to Sandu, whose attention was still firmly planted on the kid.
Wait, who's this one? Oh, yeah.
He's the one that led me to this room to begin with.
I do remember thinking it was rather strange, but with everything that had been going on, I forgot to question it further. But now, I couldn't avoid it.
What the hell is going on?
So good, dude. So good.
So amazing!
That was a really
I
good
can't get
part.
over it.
The cheese
I
was
can't get over this
perfect.
one.
Everything was perfect, dude. This was so good.
It had romance. It had... Let's go all the way back to the beginning.
Because we had this little pause here. I think we could do part 7. It's short. If you
Yeah,
go to
yeah,
part-
we could.
We go to part 7. If we just keep rolling, I think we just keep rolling with it and just
Yep.
goes into part 7. I'm vibing right now. I want to go.
Yeah, me too. I also want to keep going. I just want to, on the side note, that was one of my favorite parts of the entire series. so
Oh,
far.
absolutely.
That
I
was
love the
so
dynamic
creepy.
between the redneck and the French girl.
Yes, yeah, that was awesome.
I feel bad of the voice that I dubbed for Clint. I feel like he got the worst voice ever for how cool he ended up being. I really made him like the douchiest, sucky version. I gave him like, he was like douche. He was skateboarder Hank Hill, and I feel like he doesn't deserve that, but he's dubbed skateboarder Hank Hill.
Yeah, I think that a lot of these personalities are made better, even if they don't entirely match the voice. Then the actions even make the voice even better. Like, I just love that he's Hank Hill and he had all these like weird combat tricks and like snarkiness to him and stuff. Like, it's just a really fucking weird Hank Hill.
Yeah, well, in my mind, the whole time I was picturing Sam Rockwell trying to do a Hank Hill impression. That was what I like, and it just like then when I saw him fight and stuff, I'm like, I kind of messed up here, but whatever. I like it. We're rolling with it. But I'm gonna jump in. It's my line, so we're going right into part 7. Now I'm even confused. Now even I'm confused.
Adrian said before turning to Sandu.
Hey, what's going on here? Who the hell are you?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I added, also looking in his direction.
Come on, man.
I've known the guy for years, yet I couldn't begin to understand what he was planning here. Sandu took a while to respond, and even then, it was less than satisfying.
It is complicated.
He finally spoke up.
By the way, aren't you guys missing the show? Good. Look, he fucking straw man. He was just like, oh, look at monitor. Very interesting. Am I right, guys?
Well, like you said, I don't remember if it was in the one that we didn't get recorded, but were you like, we headcanoned in at one point that Sandu is the one that's doing all of the editing. Like, because we have to have different audio feeds going on to be able to hear. If you had all the audio feeds going on at once, it would just be noise. So you were like Sandu sitting in the back with the joystick, just like going crazy.
That's right. I just pictured Sandu. Oh, look at over here. Oh,
yeah.
I used to play Nintendo on the Atari many years ago.
And he's like, look at that. Ooh, look at them. They're fighting now. Ooh, listen. And so, oh, look, a love arc, guys. Best friends over here. But the whole time he's keeping his eyes on this one entity. Dude, Sandu fucking best here.
Yeah, Sandu. And I think also Adrian kind of like leads to this being a better rug pull, because Adrian has the confidence to just be like, oh, damn, look at here, boys. And like he just says something and Sandu's like, camera change. Camera 1, camera 2. And he just like follows his lead a little bit to make him think that he's in control of the situation.
Yep. Absolutely, yes. I was about to say that rug pull was very cool. Where he's like, I'm so glad I found this place. And the narrator's like, wait, what? And he's like, wait, what? Yeah, like I fucking love this twist. All right, anyway, I wasn't going to force the guy to talk. Over the years, I've learned that doing so only leads to disingenuous answers. Besides, he was right. Jack was already rushing towards Wu.
Come on, Wu. Show me your kung fu shit. I'll beat you down with a good old American boxing.
He really thinks Americans invented boxing, huh?
Adrian muttered. That's awesome. Instead, Wu opted to blast him back with his hand shotgun. Jack was sent flying into a support beam.
Dude, he just Indiana Jones his ass, bro. He Indiana Jones his ass. Boom.
Come on, you fucking slope. Dude, he's just like, oh, actually, you're right. Dude, oh yeah. While he'd taken no ostensible damage, there were now holes littered across the American flag printed on his chest plate. That sure got him pretty rattled.
Oh, dude, I'd be pissed.
Oh, you fucked up, buddy.
He said, a deranged smirk drawn across his face. For the first time ever, Wu decided to speak.
What you think are going to happen?
In an instant, they charged at each other. Given their respective power and speed, their combined movements were hardly comprehensible. But if I had to approximate the exchange, it was something like this. Jack lands across to Wu's helmet, cracking it slightly. Wu attempts to stab Jack with a large blade. It breaks on his arm. Jack presses forward, throwing a flurry of jabs at Wu's head. Most are blocked. Wu counters with a kick to the ribs. It hurts. Wu uses his railgun eyes. I'm sorry, let me reread this. Wu uses his railgun eyes, burning the side of Jack's cheek. And then the gauntlet is unleashed. Wu lands a brutal combination with steel-studded knuckles. Wu shoves a grenade into Jack's face. Wu pounds away at Jack's ribs with a spiked bat. Wu stabs Jack through the shoulder with an elbow blade. Wu snaps off one of Jack's fingers. Wu headbutts him. Wu picks him up and executes a hard takedown, destroying the walkway they're standing on and causing them both to fall to a lower floor. And then, Wu begins strangling Jack.
He's got the advantage with his weapons.
I said.
There's no way Jack's turning it around.
Adrian scoffs.
No, you didn't funnel billions into this guy for nothing. He got a few tricks up his sleeves.
Oh boy, did he ever. Jack was frenetic as he struggled to break out of Wu's iron grasp.
Fuck you!
He screamed before his right fist began glowing red. He let go of Wu's wrists, slamming his knuckles right into his throat instead. The first significant strike. I could see Wu's armor splinter as he was launched backwards, forced to release his grip. Still exasperated from the struggle, Jack pulled himself up, his fists smoldering like hell. At the same time, Wu was gasping for air himself.
Wait, who's this? Is this Jack?
How's that?
He said, holding his fist up while grinning like a man utterly unhinged. Suddenly, his left fist also began glowing, the only difference being that it was blue.
It's about to get fucking gnarly.
Jack said.
Stars and Stripes style is immeasurable.
Okay, Jack's winning me. Jack's winning me.
Oh,
and it's cheesy.
jeez, I love it, yup.
He is winning. I'm glad we put him in. You wanted to put him in F. You wanted to put him in
I
F.
did. You're right.
And
You're
he
right.
never
you know
deserved
what, dude?
that.
I'm okay with even raising him up to A tier at this point.
I say we
bust
keep
out
him in
Stars
C.
and
We
Stri-
keep him in C.
Okay.
He's still too cheesy to make A. Like, he's cheese, but like I think we put him perfectly in C. I think he didn't. If we would have put him in F, we would have regretted it. I think if we put him any higher, we would regret it later. But right now, he's perfect where he's at.
Okay. All right. I'm okay with this. We could even put some. We can put some stakes on it though. Like, let's just leave him in C tier. Never mind. We're getting too complicated. All right. What it followed was an exchange of blurs. I could hear explosive bouts of clanking metal. White smoke and flickering sparks intercut with flashes of red and blue from Jack's fists. Two individuals at the pinnacle of power striking each other with everything they had. And after around an entire minute of hectic but incomprehensible fighting, both men had sustained significant damage. Wu's suit was covered in cracks and dents, with his right forearm and left thigh now exposed. There was also blood leaking through his fractured helmet. On the other hand, hardly an inch of Jack's body was unscathed. He was cut and swollen all over, with one of his eyes stabbed out and his right shoulder grated down to the bone. They stared each other down during their few seconds of fleeting recuperation, and then they were right back at each other's throats. Wu attempted to blast Jack in the face with his palm cannon, but the American managed to weave underneath the shot, throwing both fists into Wu's chest, causing his suit to shatter completely at that particular spot. His vitals were now exposed. Jack knew what kind of opportunity he'd just created, indicative by the wicked grin on his face. In a matter of milliseconds, Jack pulled back one of his fists and struck Wu directly. Without his armor protecting him, that blow must have liquidized his insides. In any case, that's what I got from his reaction. In an instant, he collapsed in pain before being tossed over the rails onto an even lower floor. As he clutched his sides in excruciation on the ground, Jack leapt down and stomped on his helmet, finally shattering that as well. He'd accomplished something that even the most sophisticated of weaponry would have had trouble doing. In a desperation move, Wool pulled out his shot... Didn't he just stomp his fucking head? Oh, stomp the helmet. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
In a desperation move, Wu pulled out his shotgun and began spraying it upwards, forcing Jack to retreat. Feeling pain that must have eclipsed the boundaries of unbearable, he pulled himself up, finally revealing his cut-to-hell visage through his broken helmet.
You're just a regular person underneath that suit, huh?
Jack said, panting.
How comical.
Wu responded.
You were... The demon guns here too, before the experiment.
Wu responded. Jack scoffed.
Is that what you think? That's how... That I'm just like you? A regular fucking guy?
Yes.
Wu responded.
We want to burn a special.
Jack shook his head.
Why does that matter? Look, I'll give you one thing. You're strong as hell. You even gave me a bit of a hard time. But your attitude is fucking bullshit.
Wu had trouble responding to that, as anyone would.
Sure, we weren't born special.
Jack continued.
But we changed ourselves, clawing our way up to the top.
He paused for a moment.
No, you're not just a regular guy underneath that suit after all. And I wasn't another fuck in the crowd before the experiment. They just don't choose random assholes, you know. These things are what we accomplish ourselves, the thing nobody else could do. Why don't you fucking understand that?
Another pause followed. The silence was broken when Wu reached over his shoulder, pulling out a terribly large red-orange sword. The Singularity Blade.
Jack of Bonds,
He began...
you seem unintelligent on the surface, but almost said something profound just now.
Jack smirked at the pseudo-compliment.
You're strong and well.
Wu continued.
I show you my respect by cutting you down with my ultimate weapon.
Dude, that is such boss fight dialogue right there.
Oh no! Why did no one respect me?
Now it's time for my ultimate weapon.
Hello again. It's me.
I'm touched.
Jack responded.
I guess I'll have to show you the same courtesy.
He closed his eye for a moment before opening it back up, revealing nothing but white underneath his lids. The red and blue radiating off his fists began extending up to his forearms,
Yeah!
before quickly enveloping each side of his body entirely.
Oh my god, he's the coolest guy ever. Oh my god.
You should be honored. I'm about to crush you with the full force of American spirit.
Oh my god, I just came. This guy
Well,
is...
I just mean,
Dude, I think we let the narrator get to us. I think we were wrong for not putting him in A tier now. He is, like, we let the narrator think that his nepotism is the only reason he deserved to be there. Dude, he is so cool. Dude, he has red and blue fiery arms and a white suit. Like, come on, that is so stupidly, retardedly sick, dude. He's so American, it makes me want to fucking go outside and, like, harvest an army of eagles.
yes. And also, what's really cool is that for all of these people with really ridiculous names and underwhelming powers, he has an underwhelming name and ridiculous powers.
Yeah, it makes
Fucking
sense why
love
he's
it.
the leader, dude.
Yes.
He won me over with that is so original. I mean, when he was just Captain America, he was kind of gay, right? Oh, you know, like Captain
Yeah.
America, Superman, but like
Now he just drops the captain. Now
Yeah.
he's just
America.
America. He's just America.
He hits America.
Dude.
I like to smell napalm in the morning.
I love this guy.
Two tremendously strong. Oh yeah, sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
no,
Joe.
you go ahead. You go ahead. I had nothing.
Two tremendously strong men, both now at the pinnacle of their own power, stood across from each other in full acknowledgement of each other's prowess. An earth-shaking clash was about to ensue. Wu went first, swinging the blade and releasing an obscure serpentine entity from its tip. It rushed forward and with torrid speed, latching its claws onto Jack's arms and attempting to bite his head off. Jack responded by drilling his fist down the creature's throat. It bit down, puncturing his arm but shattering its own teeth in the process. Jack and the creature both fought brutally and relentlessly, with the latter seemingly growing in size as the battle ensued. However, Wu himself was standing still.
What is he doing? Why isn't he going after him?
I thought out loud.
He can't.
Adrian responded.
Look closely at him.
It took me a second, but I understood. The punch that Wu had taken to the chest had essentially put him out of commission. In fact, at that moment, he was struggling to even stand up. He was relying on the singularity creature to get the job done. After some minutes, the beast had grown to an ungodly size, resembling some kind of colossal ghoul-like dragon. It bit down on Jack's arm once again, taking it clean off this time. Oh shit. Jack shrieked in endurance-fueled pain, headbutting one of the dragon's eyes out in response. It roared in pain as it rolled backwards, utterly annihilating its surroundings. It even took out a few cameras. Jack took the opportunity to reel in the frenetic beast, jumping up on its head and bashing away. Despite having half of its face caved in, the dragon still managed to fling him into a wall, ramming what remained of his head into his torso moments later. A wave of blood busted from Jack's mouth before his lips curled back into a sadistic, unrelenting grin. He punched the creature's remaining eyes out before getting on top of it and rendering the rest of its head into a ghostly mush, with nothing but his remaining fist. Just like that, the battle was over. As the dragon died, the blade shattered with it. Jack leapt down back in front of Wu. He half chuckled, half groaned as he limped towards him.
Lost an arm, lost an eye. You really think you could put me through the gauntlet, huh?
His expression was stoned for a while. But it eventually turned into a grin. No malice behind it. He was simply acknowledging the interminable fighting spirit that Jack had put on display.
Well, looks like my fate's been shielded.
He said. Jack reciprocated the grin, breathing heavily through his teeth.
Gotta say, you weren't a pushover, but in the end, America always wins.
He finished Wu off with a quick strike to the head. As the mechanical menace dropped, Jack's body stopped glowing, and he began staggering away, his movements strained and delirious. In any case, he didn't make it too far. He dropped about 10 paces from Wu.
That was fun.
He muttered, slowly drifting off into the darkness. Even in death, His grin didn't waver.
Fucking
That line does not hit me
hell.
as hard as
I had to read the
line
next
didn't hit as
line.
hard.
I had to read the next
Oh, yeah.
line because it was so perfect, dude. It was a fucking hell, dude. That's exactly how I felt, dude. Such a
Yeah, that is
rollercoaster.
yeah, that was good commentary on that.
You know, the moment where Jack changed for me was when he gave the speech about like getting there yourself. It is not about.
Yeah.
It's not about like what the government has done or what you have done to yourself. We are still people underneath, but not. We're more than just random people. We
Yeah.
fought to be here. And I think that's where it changes it from the narrator being whiny because of his position and saying that it was just all nepotism to this guy has been working his ass off from day one. I picture him kind of like Nicolas Cage, who's like, I don't want to be a Coppola. I don't want to be a Coppola. I want to rise and fall on my own. Let me do my thing and we can figure it out, right? Like, I just see him as like his dad was somebody big and he's like, I don't want to be under your shadow. I'm going to do everything on my own merit. And because
Right.
of that, he's unrelenting. And I liked that. I like it.
I liked it too. The one negative about it though is that I really wish that we didn't have so many like suicide fights.
Agreed.
Like that's getting a little bit like, but I agree.
But at the same
is
time,
good.
we already know that Senju's back. So who knows if somebody actually dies?
That's right. Oh
So-
yeah, Wu was kind of like the cool like Asian character, like doing all the neat stuff. Let's see if I want Senju back. I'm so happy that Senju's back
So
and that he
Senju's
turned
back.
into Ghost Rider.
I don't think Wu will come back because he's lame and gay, and I hope he doesn't come back.
Yeah.
The
we called
reason
it.
I went full South Park with him is because I just don't. I was like, I need to fully engulf South Park with this character. He is too. I just picture like a Team America a head on top of the robotic body with his stupid mustache. Like we added the mustache, but it's Team America. He's like, oh, hello, Team America. You know, it's so
He's
over
just
the
he's
top.
just like the Kim Jong Il from,
Yeah, he's just
from
Ki-
Team America. He's so Ronry.
I'm so Ronnie. Nobody cares. Yeah, dude, he's so lame. And like, so I kind of want him to come back. Not the Asian, but not Wu, but the other guy. I hope he's not fully dead. But I mean, I'm guessing he is. It just
I hope so. I do hope that these characters are dead because they got all their lines out. They showed off their ultimates and they suicided into each other. Like, it's cool. Like, we can leave
it's
them
cool.
out.
We can leave him dead. I can falter to that. It's just sad. It's just sad that every time we get a character that like wins us, that he kills them off. I mean, but at the same time, if you don't know what you're gonna do with them later, if you have nothing, then it's better to kill them off than ruin their character down the road.
True. Let's see if Senju gets ruined, by the way.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
Adrian said.
Yeah, they both out to die. We'll see if one of those weirdos can make it out alive. Yeah, so, like, they're just passed out right now. They don't know if they're dead or whatever.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'd been so invested that I nearly forgot about the other fight that was going on. I turned my head, watching as Kente effortlessly strangled Senju, who has a disembodied flaming skull off of his corpse. So how he's strangling Senju right now, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But
I killed your master with 3 strikes and you're weaker than him. Your effort is an insult.
I'm going to fucking kill you.
Kente struck the side of Senju's jaw and slammed his neck into the ground, interrupting his sentence. I guess we'll never know what he was about to say. A real mystery there. But despite the overwhelming power gap, Senju kept rushing back at him, only to get abruptly beaten down every single time. He shouted in frustration, after taking another shot to the chest.
Stop evading justice.
Kente said.
Your time is done.
But then an unexpected figure arrived on the scene. Yep. Hugo rushed into the frame, directing his own rush of blows at Kente. However, he reacted to them in the same way a regular man would have reacted to a mosquito bite. Hugo was subsequently knocked back without much explicit effort put on Kente's part. His scars were glowing like hell as he pulled himself back up, his eyes pursed with piercing fury.
Why is he so pissed off?
I thought to myself. Kale arrived moments later, yelling after Hugo.
Hey, what the hell are you doing? I know you're crazy, but what the fuck? He's the one who killed my mentor.
Hugo said, his voice shaking.
The last good man on this earth, destroyed by the same evil he attempts to help. But he was foolish. There only can be one response to the sin in this world.
This fucking answer kid my mysteries will.
Senju said, turning to Hugo.
Let's bury him.
Hugo sighed, clearly not excited at his prospective ally.
Man,
Kale said, staring up at Kente.
this isn't fun anymore.
All three of them tried attacking at once. No luck. Kente tanked each blow before striking each of them down in rapid succession. He grabbed Kale by the neck before tossing him at Senju, sending both of them crashing into the wall.
Shit.
Kale yelled as he struggled to pull himself up.
Hey, yo, priest! What level of detachment are you at?
Hugo exhaled.
99 percentile.
Damn.
Kale muttered, looking up at the steadily but menacingly approaching Kente.
So when it fucked?
Not necessarily. I'm about 10 times stronger at 100% than I am at 99.
That's not how that works. Yeah, I mean, dude, even the next line.
I'm not sure the math checks.
Oh, wait. I'm not sure the math checked. Oh, wait. This is, hold on. Hugo said, who the fuck is, saying that they're...
This is...
weirdly written, right? You'll hear
Yeah,
why.
yeah.
I'll read it. I'll read it out. Not
I
necessarily.
think that he's just continuing, like,
not-
not necessarily...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. I'm about 10 times stronger at 100 percentile than I am at 99. I'm not sure the math checks out there.
Hugo said before taking another strike to the stomach.
No matter.
Hugo said.
One of the biggest evils stands before us. Every measure must be taken.
You're going to fucking die.
Kale uttered, being kept on his toes by the repeated blows from Kente. Hugo's eyes flickered a deep red, almost like a literal fire was behind them.
We're going to die regardless.
Kente turned away from Kale and turned to Hugo. He squinted.
Now I remember you.
Hugo threw a cross so hard that it seemed to split the air molecules in its path. Despite managing to block it, Kente was still blasted backwards. Getting to a stop, he held his arm up, which had been badly mangled from the blow. He sneered at Hugo, his eyes growing crazier with every second that passed.
Evil must be eliminated.
You're in no position to make that call.
Hugo responded. They bolted at each other. The two traded blows, with Hugo slowly but surely overwhelming Kente. Kale could only watch in awe. Senju, on the other hand...
Yaru, kick his fucking asseru.
But the more damage that Kente took, the more wild he seemed to get. Hugo landed a 1-2 to his jaw and temple, drawing blood from his head, before finishing the combination by drilling a knee into his liver, nearly causing Kente to buckle on the spot.
Why did you kill him?
Hugo spat at Kente in between strikes.
He was our last chance at salvation that this disgusting world had.
Now bruised, bloody, and battered, Kente dropped one knee. Hugo stepped in for the finishing blow. Or, what I thought was going to be the finishing blow. They keep doing this.
Yeah, it's just
Such anime.
Third
Dude,
time.
it's so anime. Every time it's like,
oh, he's down.
but wait, there's more.
Kente managed to catch the strike, surprising just about everybody watching, except the readers.
Yeah.
His forehead veins bulged as he looked up at Hugo. God, Jesus. Dude, this is just a vein off.
Yeah.
His face twisted in an inconceivable expression of demented wrath.
I killed him because he stood in the way of justice.
Oh, yeah. In a split second, Hugo was knocked backwards, having his chest completely caved in.
What?
He wheezed out as he bent over, trying to funnel air into his lungs.
He's stronger. Be careful.
Kente picked him up and judo slammed him over the rail before he could get the sentence out. I never cringed as hard as I did, I doubt that, while I watched his spine get instantaneously bent into the worst possible shape.
Hugo!
Kale yelled, charging at Kente. A valiant but fruitless effort. He was picked up and brutally ragdolled into the walls and floors. Kente finished this ruthless display by slamming his back into the wall. Kale crumpled like a pancake, with every bone in his body just about broken. Recovering from that was going to be a tall order.
Oh, fuck.
He spurted out, unable to make another move. Suddenly, Senju was back down on his own, heavily injured and looking far less confident than he was before.
We can't let them win.
Sandu said, his expression a combination of frightened and resolute.
Oh, you're not watching the kid anymore.
Adrian
What a
said.
surprise.
Sorry, Adrian said. I shook my head.
I mean, what the hell are we supposed to do?
Instead of answering my questions, he just brushed by me before abruptly sprinting out the door.
What the hell, man?
I called after him. No use. He was already gone. I fumbled around in place for a moment. On one hand, I really didn't want to go out there. On the other, he was my friend. And as much as I wanted answers, I also wanted to make sure he didn't do something he was going to have the chance to regret. After a few moments of frenetic contemplation, I found myself chasing after him.
What the fuck are you guys doing?
I could hear Adrian calling out from behind me. At that point, he was the least of my concerns. Chills ran down my spine as I traversed across the blood-stained halls, decorated by the mangled corpses of my former guards. It was a sight that I had experienced in my nightmares before. I'm sure just about every guard had. Seeing it in real life was jarring, to say the least. It was bonkers.
It was bonkers.
It sure had been one hell of a day. But the inevitable dusk finally seemed to be closing in.
Dude, so a short but sweet part, really good. I think that this is, like, the last part set us up for, like, this is, end is all knockdown drag out. As soon as the hammer showed up, it was going to be fights. And
Yeah.
I think it was a good way to bring Senju back, because I think that the writer, like I said, dude, I knew Senju was one of the people who didn't deserve to be here. I 100% knew that Senju, like, has had no reason to not, like, that just made him deserve to be here. I think Kente has put a lot of people in this jail that he's just decided so. And I think he's turned a lot of people who could have been good.
More and more.
I do, but I still think, what do we put him in, A or C?
We put him in A.
Well, he deserves A. He 100% deserves A. I'm glad we put him in A.
Yes.
I almost...
Did he... Do you think that he's killed Hugo and Kale?
No.
Okay, yeah, you're right. There's no way they could... There's no
this
way.
the story's written so obvious that it would have been like, no, they're dead. They're really dead. They're so dead. It's bonkers
you're
how
right.
dead they are.
It's bonker. They were bonkers dead, bro.
It's inconceivable
Yes, okay.
how dead they were. Like,
You're right.
There is no way that... I don't think they're dead. I think
They were
because...
frenetically dead.
Well, and the fact that Sandu's speaking up is, I think they're going to show up and be a distraction. They're going to be a distraction. And I think that there's something behind the kid that it's alluding to. I think Kente wants the kid dead. I think Kente...
Oh, yeah. No, I do definitely think that Kente is going to try to kill the kid. I agree with you there. And Sandu has some sort of weird connection to the kid, like, whether they're, like, family or something.
I don't think that they're related at all, because different parts of the world. I think what it is they're just all meeting up in the same... Oh, Sandu. I was thinking Sanju.
Yeah.
Sanju is...
Senju. Yeah. Sandu. I think that
Sandu.
Sandu and the kid might be related, but that... I'm not trying to...
No, I get what you're saying.
Both...
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's that, or they just built like a really good bond while being here. Because like everybody says,
could be it as well.
Everybody's like really cool with the kid. They don't even lock his cell. He's really
That's right.
nice.
Yeah, he just like walks around and stuff. Yeah.
The kid's just there, and nobody really knows why. Like what happened to get him there or whatever. I think what Kente does is he finds out that there are void-like people in the world, and he's sent to get them under the guise of justice. And he will do whatever, and it's just who he is, and it's caused. I think it made Hugo to be the monster that he is, where he sees all people as sin. I think that Sanju has been on the what landed him in the cell as well was fighting back when Kente killed his dojo. You look at the other what was Luz? Luz was there because his entire
That's right, because his whole village was killed.
Dude, Kente just be destroying entire villages.
Oh my god, he is so much better at his job than all of the rest of these guys.
Yeah, he's an absolute monster.
Kente gets shit done, dude. That's why he was second in command of Hammer, and now He's first in command of Hammer.
Yeah. Like the difference between like
Big
why
unspoken development.
there is a layer of morality under the leader. Under Ken there was a layer of morality. Kente sees black and white. He doesn't see any, and like Ken was American soldier. I'm gonna do this for the love of my country. This guy does it for his obscured focus of justice, which is anything that stands slightly in the way of justice deserves to die.
Right. I think that it's also a really remarkable story beat that we've seen the Hammer basically just collapse the second it got thrown into this situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they came in and they were like, all right, everybody, like, you go after that guy. You go look for people. I'm going after the big dude. And, like, the leader's been killed. Ken is fraternizing with the prisoners. Kente apparently has beef with every one of the fucking Voids.
I said Ken earlier when I meant to say the American because I forgot his name. I can't remember.
Oh, yeah, no, I got what you meant, though.
Yeah. But Ken is like, my girlfriend's down there. My little French tart that tried to. I want to know. I want to like. There's a comic book, right? There's a comic book where it's Wolverine shows up to kill Blade. Like, I can't remember the line, but it was in the 2000s, and Wolverine is, like, there to kill Blade. And it's this really fun, like, dynamic of, like, back and forth fighting, and then they realize that they don't want to kill each other, and it was misunderstanding. And that's kind of the dynamic I see between Ken. Ken's just sitting there, and this assassin chick shows up, and they're fighting, and you get, like, that cool, like, romance fight. Yeah, like it's got that back and forth where, like, with the Blade one in my head, I'm thinking about how they like Blade's like, why would you hate me? We had such a good friendship in the past, and of course Wolverine didn't remember because he doesn't remember his past. But it's like that dynamic where one of them's like sitting there like, whoa, what's going on here? And I just pictured Ken like, whoa, this chick's kind of hot. What's going on? I'm gonna dodge these blades. Here's a portal demon. Deal with that bitch for a while. You know, I really like Ken. We had so much good in this. There was only one part I didn't like. It's toward the beginning. It's right after. It's right when he's like, Jack lands cross on Woo's helmet. Woo, it's like he got bored. He got bored with how he wanted to write all this dynamic fighting, and he's like, I'll just break it down. I'll break it down like the specs. And I thought that was terrible writing. Like, of course I'm not judging this guy on his ability of, like, because he's writing a cheesy B movie. I'm not, like, gonna hate on him for that. I just thought it broke up the flow.
It did, and that inconsistency is, like, characteristic of this series so far. Because, like, we're on that was part 7.
Mm-hmm.
Part 6 was, like, one of our favorites. So insanely well written. Part 5 was not well written.
No.
Like, I don't know. He was, like, reusing the same word multiple times a sentence or paragraph and stuff, and it was, like, I think maybe he was just, like, typing that on his phone while he was, like, doing some other shit or something. And then, like, so it's like he has, like, different levels of, like, when he's on and off, which
absolutely. I
cool.
love it, and that's why I love these type of stories compared to like if we were reading like a profound novel. Of course, there's not going to be these type of inconsistencies because this is internet slop. We're
it's
like,
not going through like layers and layers of editors and things like that.
Mm-hmm. We are reading the equivalent of smut of female smut novels. So I'm not expecting it to be profoundly written, and the fact that it's MMA monster smut, I am so vibing with. I love it. I absolutely love how cheesy this is.
I really can't believe how good this has been. All right, man. Did you want to?
Well, round us out. All right, make sure to go follow our Twitter. It is the Haunted Router. Actually, everything. It doesn't matter if we're on Spotify, on YouTube. Make sure to like and subscribe. We are trying to be the best Wish version of Creepcast in the entire world. Our editing might not be as great. Sometimes it gets a little better. Sometimes it gets a little worse. You have two goonbags here who barely know how to function a computer, let alone run a podcast. But we're doing the absolute best we can. So make sure to rate us on Spotify, and eventually we will get on Apple Podcasts on there and everything else. But right now it's a little difficult, and we're a little too retarded to make that happen. But we will eventually get it done. So make sure to rate us on Spotify, give us a like, and send it to all of your friends, even your grandma. She might enjoy some of the sex jokes. It might land for her.
You would love us. Oh. Yeah, dude. There's no way that we kill in the elderly community.
Oh, big.
Again, running all that. We're about to get all the surveys back in from another, like 2 trillion got moved into our account the other day. So we're gonna run some surveys down at the fucking Wawa.
Yeah, you can tell by my
figure out what
camera.
people are thinking.
You can tell by my camera call quality that we have a really high-end setup here. It's
Yeah.
You can tell I actually, this isn't even my house. I wanted to feel like more like the plebeians. So what I did was I green screened somebody else's janky little home behind me.
We're fake poor.
Yeah,
we're faking
we're
being
fake
poor.
poor. We're fake poor. I actually have like super Elgato 4K setup, but you can't relate to me if I'm doing this whole thing for my Bugatti.
All right, I gotta go meet with some Epsteins and some Clintons. All right, bro.
Catch you later.
You guys the next one.